Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing this Norse Star from Northern Monk. That's right, I'm taking a look at this. It's called Norse Star from Northern Monk. It's a pretty potent Imperial Stout as far as I can tell, and I don't really know a lot more. On the front of the can it's Northern Monk x Lervig, so it's a collaboration brew with the Lervig brewery. It's called Norse Star and it's a vanilla, cacao and almond Imperial Stout at 9%. If you're wondering about my already rosy complexion, well, it's Sunday. I've just had a pretty belting Sunday dinner and as a result I am now glowing from the cheeks. I started off my weekend with an Imperial Stout and it seemed fit only to end it in the same way. I don't want to read too much about this before giving it a sample, so before we do, here's a look at the can. Very still, no activity off there at all. Right. Not getting a huge amount of aroma from a distance. Starting to get some kind of ruby port boozy notes from it. Let's get all of that in. Just gonna let it settle for a moment. Right, let's find out what those aromas are saying. It smells like getting a deep chocolate, but like a dark chocolate champagne truffle kind of thing. Because that cacao and mixed with this potent alcohol leaves for that kind of impression. It's very boozy. It's very chocolatey. As it settles, it's starting to sweeten off a little bit, or as I become accustomed to it. The vanilla isn't particularly evident on the nose, and the almond isn't at all. I think the vanilla is passing through a touch in kind of the fact that it's sweetening off a bit as it settles down. But yeah, maybe it's coming through. It's coming through a little bit, but it's absolutely dominated by that dark chocolate and alcohol, which is making for that, say, that kind of champagne truffle kind of feel. Here's to a very boozy Sunday evening. Cheers. Bold, very bold. Starts off smooth, starts to ramp up, and then it's an explosion of alcohol burn at the end. But it's not aggressive, actually. An explosion is probably the wrong term. It's just a big lick of alcohol burn as you swallow it. For me, the initial taste is that earthy cacao chocolate thing. The middle is where some of the vanilla and hazelnut starts to ramp in. If you think about it, there's an air of Nutella-iness in there, which is obviously chocolate and hazelnut kind of gives you that impression. But truthfully, right now, it's in the aftertaste. The hazelnut hanging around. Oh, this is developing very well. It's starting to turn into, like I said several times about the Champagne Truffles, now it's like a rich, boozy Nutella truffle, almost. That's very interesting. Right, now we've had our first sip, so we'll let this settle down a bit. We'll come back to it and review it again in a few minutes. Meanwhile, let's take a look at this can. So, as I said, Norse Star Vanilla, Cocoa and Almond Imperial Stout, 9%, with collaboration brew with Lervig, and obviously from Northern Monk. A collaboration with Lervig, an indulgent Imperial Stout inspired by Norwegian ingredients. Skål. They always have interesting little anecdotes on the back of their cans. Canned in the north with Simon Wynne. He says, I've lifted 8 of Scotland's historic manhood stones. I sure hope the 4 Scotsmen were obliging. He is brethren number 54, and as usual it says, hey up, we're Northern Monk. A few years ago we set out to brew some of the best beer in the world from a damp cellar in the north. We didn't have much, but with the support of friends, family and a £5,000 gift of a grandparent, we've come a long way. A lasting commitment to creating the best beer experiences we can, whilst working with the community around us. That is what continues to drive them forward. They're based in Holbeck, Leeds. The ingredients are water, malted barley, oats, lactose, hops, vanilla essence, chocolate essence, almond essence and yeast. I got this one from Morrisons. As you may expect with the ABV and being from Northern Monk, it was one of the pricier options in there, somewhere around £4, I think. But you know what, it's pretty enjoyable so far. It's hyper indulgent, this one, but also very, very flavourful. I don't have any lasting memory of how good the mouthfeel was, which is interesting. I didn't mention it, but also can't remember. So I suspect it's middle of the road, but let's give it another go to find out. Okay, so that's why. It's typical, thick, velvety Imperial Stout goodness. It's very good on the tongue. There's a bit of a carbonation spike along with the alcohol at the back of the throat when you swallow it. That ruins it, just a pinch for me, which is probably why I didn't mention it before, kind of neither here nor there. But let's see what else is going on now. It's settled for a moment. The alcohol is really dominating everything on the nose here. I mean, this changes wildly, just placing your nose at the start of the glass versus trying to cover it with your mouth as well. Yeah, I mean, this way, that's alcohol burn with just a hint of chocolate, and then this way, almost no alcohol, certainly in comparison, and then you start to get a few more of that subtle chocolate hazelnut thing that most of the taste is, which is really interesting. Weirdly weird. Doesn't even seem to be related to how far away the liquid is either. It's just when the air gets to it, it just turns into an alcohol fiend. But just shut the air away and you've got yourself a nice little chocolate treat. That sip there was very reminiscent of not just Nutella, but like it's turning now into almost a boozy Ferrero Rocher kind of thing, but just impactful. It's solid. I'm not blown away. I always find an Imperial Stout has to do something really quite massive to make me go, oh yeah. And that's normally masking the alcohol. This doesn't mask the alcohol at all. It's clearly 9%. If anything, it tastes a bit stronger than 9% for me. But it's perfectly enjoyable. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to go and enjoy it. It's a nice, thick, syrupy thing. I think the slight downer that I have on the bit of natural carbonation that zings at the back of the mouth at the minute, I think that's dying down as it's just the beer is more aerated. So hopefully by the end it's going to be really quite silky. There's not a great deal to talk about in terms of appearance. You know, it's jet black. It's got a coffee-coloured head that's not particularly evident. It's hanging around, but not hugely. It's solid. If you like Imperial Stouts a lot, you're probably going to love it. It's solid. If you're not that keen on Imperial Stouts, I think this one is worth a try. It might be flavourful enough to manipulate you in, but ultimately you've got to be able to enjoy a really boozy drink, because that is exactly what this is. It screams booze throughout the entire process. It's becoming ever evident that after I've not taken a sip for a few minutes, that nuttiness of the almond really just is what's residual in the mouth. It's very nice actually. It's a really nice aftertaste. So, I think that's everything to say. Thumbs up, it's decent. I'm not blown away, but absolutely worth a try. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it if you haven't already. Subscribe if you will be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.